From 1996 to 2001, when the Taliban were in power, they presided over a draconian fundamentalist state. Women were prevented from going to school, movies, and other forms of entertainment were barred. Men were forced to grow beards, women were forced to wear burqas, and overall you saw a society dominated by this Sunni fundamentalist militia that went out of its way to brutalize and punish those who did not follow its edicts. The Taliban very infamously carried out public executions in the major stadium in Kabul.
Afghan nationals are going to face a lot of problems. They adhere to a form of Islam, a very extreme form of Islam that really provides no liberties at all for anyone, but particularly for women.
مونږه د انجونو او د الکانو دواړو د تعلیم مخالفت نه درو د امارت پالیسي دار سي دواړه به تعلیم وکړي تر هغه چې د شریعت او د موږ د اسلام مقدس دین احکامات پایمال نه وي پکې نو د فردي تحت کوي سي انجونې وړو کې وی غټي وي تعلیم کوي سي هیڅ مشکل نشته کوم.
As an MP, as a female, as someone who is coming from civil society activism and human rights, women rights activism. So for sure, I'm afraid of myself, my life, and my freedom to work and my freedom to speak up.
They really only know how to be a guerrilla group, how to be repressive, and not much else. And I think the other issue is because these services aren't going to be provided, we're going to have a huge humanitarian crisis in the making. This has already been going on for some time now. We've seen about 300,000 Afghans are internally displaced. You have 1.4 million Afghans in Pakistan. Those are just those that are registered, and several 100,000 more that aren't registered. And we're going to see many fleeing to Pakistan and living in really difficult conditions, as is always the case for someone who's a refugee.
There are a lot of consequences wrapped up in the Taliban coming back to power in Kabul. Of course, first and foremost for the United States, it's a damning indictment of 20 years of an American military and political mission in Afghanistan, one that has seen hundreds of billions of dollars spent on the country, one that has seen a major loss of life, both for American soldiers, but more so for the Afghan population.
The international community has really failed Afghanistan. I see more of a role of the UN coming back in just to provide humanitarian aid.
I call upon the Taliban and all parties to respect and protect international humanitarian law and the rights and freedoms of all persons. We are receiving chilling reports of severe restrictions on human rights throughout the country.
To a certain extent, you may see governments, after this initial period of chaos and real tragedy, trying to find some kind of accommodation with a Taliban-dominated government in Kabul. Yes, absolutely, Afghanistan's government and military collapsed at astonishing speed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Taliban themselves are capable of presenting the kind of united front that can hold the country together.
The Afghan flag being taken down. That is Taliban.